Yo, what up, fellow waifu hunters? Welcome back to another Passion 9 anime discussion video. And yes, you see, last week we were talking about Ranma 1 half getting a remake, and all the mixed feelings I had about that. And it got me thinking there was another anime not too long ago that also got a remake recently. And it's another one that I have, well, also very mixed feelings about. But yeah, Spice and Wolf. Anybody remember Spice and Wolf? Good old Spice and Wolf. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about comparing the shows too much because, I mean, when it comes to that, I don't think there's any contest at all. I think the original is just better. I tried watching the first episode of the remake, and I was immediately just not interested for many reasons. One being that I just thought the original had more charm, and I already didn't like some of the changes they made to the story, which supposedly, and I'm sure somebody's gonna rush to tell me this if they read the light novels that the Spice and Wolf anime is based on. They made changes that apparently were more faithful to the light novels, whereas the first anime adaptation made changes that were different from the light novels. And I'm here to tell you that I actually don't care about that. My whole thing is if I like an adaptation more than the source material, that I don't care if another adaptation that comes later is more faithful to said source material. I felt that way about the original Hellsing adaptation that came out from Gonzo. I actually preferred that adaptation of Hellsing over Hellsing Ultimate. And then I find out later Hellsing Ultimate was more faithful to the manga. And everybody was telling me, well, that's better because that's more faithful to the manga. So you should like that one more. Well, I don't. So I guess the manga, I guess the manga sucks to me then. And I just prefer the adaptation that made all of its changes, the first anime adaptation. So that's just my attitude. I don't really care, you know, about changing source material if I like it enough, you know? So, like, if the new Spice and Wolf is more faithful to the light novels and all the differences are because of that, well, then I guess I prefer the changes that they made from the light novels because I prefer the original adaptation. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, Spice Wolf got a remake. It's weird, especially because, like, that's not even an old anime. Spice and Wolf only came out, like, a little over 10 years ago, right? Like, it's not even that old. And this shit got remade, which is just so pointless to me. Okay, if their excuse is, well, we just want to follow the light novels this time and be closer to the light novels, well, then, like, would it have been just as easy to just make this a direct sequel to the original anime adaptation? I mean, the original adaptation couldn't have changed that much, could it have? Like, did it change that much from the original light novels that they couldn't just make it a freaking sequel? I don't know. Anyway, I found it strange. I watched the first episode of the remake just out of morbid curiosity. I didn't think I was gonna like it anyway because it seemed so pointless, and I was right. I didn't like it at all. But one of the things that I think bugs me the most here is that the star of the show, Holo, the Wise Wolf, uh, she is, of course, a top tier waifu material, sexy wolf girl, sexy waifu girl over here, top tier waifu material. And I don't like her new design. That's one of the things I don't like about this remake. Look what they did with this character, man. Like, what is up with her new design? Why does she look so weird? She looks weird as fuck. Look how like round. What is up with like What did they do to her ears? Why is her face so lacking in detail? Why does she look so like she's got such a flat like face design now? The colors are all weird and washed out. Like what is going on with the who why? Just why? Like look at this. Look at her original design in the in the first anime adaptation. Look how good she looks there. Come on. Look at all that feisty personality she's got. That right there, that's Holo right there, man. That's Holo the Wise Wolf. Or in this case, the Drunk Wolf. But you get my point. Like, she had so much feisty, zesty personality in the original adaptation, in her design. Like, and this new design just looks kind of generic. Like, what is this? I'm not saying it's like the worst thing I've ever seen. Judging it on its own merits, if I didn't have the originals to compare it to, I would say it's fine. I guess it's not a bad design. It's just like compared to her original design, it's just like what did they do? Like, did they really think this was better? Like, come on, bruh. What are we doing? What are we doing with Holo? What are we doing with our waifus these days, you know? Why are we remaking waifus? It's one thing to remake these anime, but also remaking the waifus. Look at this. Look at this gif. Look how much like mischievous personality is behind that smile. That mischievous smile there. Look at that. Come on. That's Holo right there. That's my Holo. Look how much like definition and like detail in the face there. You know, she's got such an expressive, fun personality in her original design. And then you go to this new design, the new one, it just looks like what did they do, you know? So like regardless of the differences in the adaptations, because I obviously only watched one episode of the new adaptation, the new remake or whatever, I can't speak entirely for the qualities of its storytelling, but just on an aesthetic level, just when it comes to character designs or whatever, like look at this, like it's just not the same. She looks so like it just looks like typical moe anime face. You know what I mean? She looks just like typical moe girl wearing a holo wig. You know what I mean? She's got such a rounded, run of the mill moe face now. It just doesn't look as fun to me. It doesn't have that same sexy look as old Holo from the original series. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting the soul, that sexy soul of the original Holo. Um, this may be a personal thing. This may be a personal preference. They changed Lawrence's design a little too, but I'm not paying as much attention to him. Obviously, I think, uh, you know, that Holo is the main thing I'm focusing on here. But yeah, like, come on, man. Holo's original design. I know we all have our preferences here, but are you really gonna tell me this original design isn't better in every single way? Just come on. The line work, the bolder, darker lines and colors, and it just pops so much more. I was saying the same thing about Ranma 1/2 original compared to Ranma 1/2 remake, but this isn't even. At least that has the excuse of being from like the early 90s when techniques and drawing was very different, but like this isn't even that old. The original Spice of Wolf is not that old. So like what happened here? Like what did they like what who was in charge of this? Like look at that, man. Top tier waifu. And on a side note, the first episode of the remake, they also Apparently, in the original light novels, I forget her name, but the chick that Lawrence meets, his like childhood buddy or whatever she was. I don't know. This girl, she was kind of like an apprentice or something. Only existed. She was a character made up whole cloth for the original, the first anime adaptation, and then the new one doesn't have her. There's just a dude instead. It's just a younger guy uh, that plays that role, and it's like what? Like that's what confuses me. Is like sometimes original source material, sometimes following the original source material beat for beat is not always the best way to handle an adaptation. Sometimes adaptations can make changes that are better, guys. I don't like it's another thing that annoys me about these remakes. All these anime remakes lately, they all have the same excuse of like, well, this time we're going to follow, the manga 100% or we're going to follow the light novels 100%. And it's like unless that original source material is like flawless, sometimes there's room for improvement. Sometimes these adaptations can add stuff or tweak stuff that's actually for the better. And sometimes those changes are there for a reason because somebody actually came up with something better than the original writer was able to do. So, like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think adaptations don't always have to do that. Sometimes changes can be good, in an adaptation. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But mainly, Holo's just not as hot and sexy in the new remake. So that's the most important thing to note. You know, um, that matters more here in this discussion, I think. But yeah, what's up? What'd you do to my Holo, man? I don't know. Once again, I prefer the OG over remake. I have yet to see an anime remake that I think is better than OG. I have yet to see that. Now, if y'all have good examples of that you would like to share with me, maybe I'd even agree. Maybe there's something I forgot. Maybe there was an anime remake at some point that is better that I just forgot about. If y'all know anything that you think is better than OG, bring it up in the comments. Let me know. I think more often than not, OG wins. I think that's usually how these things go, but let me find out. Signal off in the freaking comments. Do you like old OG Holo? Remake Holo? Which Holo do you prefer? Let me know. Uh, how do you feel about Spice and Wolf remake? Did you read the light novels? Am I wrong to like the original anime adaptation more than the new shit that's coming out? Feel free to argue. But, till next time, live for the passion. And long live Holo, the Wise Wolf. If you haven't seen the original Spice and Wolf, you should, because it's freaking good. It's freaking good. It's a good show. It's better than the remake.